changes faster than the weather, but we're running a close second. Stay informed with Weather Center all day today and every day.
In the next half hour, Weather Center, a comprehensive national forecast. At 40 after, Weather Center continues with highway and air travel conditions. Then the weekend outlook. And at 50 after, Storm Watch. But right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Well, severe thunderstorms are flaring up across the upper Midwest and northern plains this afternoon and evening. Welcome to Weather Center. I'm Bob Stokes. A tornado watch has been issued for parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. For the latest details, we go to Mike Bono in the Forecast Center.
Thanks a lot, Bob. Yes, very serious conditions in the Midwest today, the upper Midwest especially, with tornado warnings and tornado touchdowns reported, and there's more to come. Let's take a look at our watches now. We have severe thunderstorm watches in effect in Minnesota and on into Wisconsin, and even upper Michigan, where we now have severe thunderstorm warnings in a couple of counties. And tornado watches in Wisconsin, one earlier one that extended into the early evening and through later evening, tornado watch in Minnesota and on into Iowa and even eastern parts of Nebraska. A huge area of the Midwest now affected by the severe potential. Along a warm front, we have a boundary that's allowing all this to fire up, and the first area extends all the way into upper Michigan or lower Michigan. That's severe potential along Route 90, Interstate 80, and Interstate 70, Interstate 29, crisscrossing all these areas. Be on the lookout, keep your eye to the sky, and watch the Weather Channel when you can. And it appears that it'll develop further southward, maybe as far south as Oklahoma, as a dry line actually pops up. That's one of these purple lines that we put on our map. There's a cool front to the west, so drier air first, then the colder air, and a lot of energy at aloft. Some winds that are blowing pretty rapidly aloft from west to east. We have had some problems, though, around Minneapolis and also Green Bay, Wisconsin. You could see some of those hailstones bouncing around. We have had reports out of the Green Bay area in Oconto County, in Green Bay itself. We've had up to golf ball size hail near town. Marinette County, Wisconsin has had reports of hail, and on down into many areas. Manitowoc had large hail up to baseball size earlier on in the day. So Green Bay getting hammered pretty badly. That's only part of it, though. We've had tornadoes that have been popping up to the south and west. First of all, there's a temperature contrast. We have up to 75. It was up to about 80 in Chicago, only 52 in Green Bay and 46 in Marquette. These temperature contrasts show up very nicely on the map. You mix it all up, you move the warm, moist air up, and then you throw in some upper-level winds and a warm front that goes right through that, and you have a formula for very intense weather. We still have some severe thunderstorms moving through Wisconsin after 4-inch size hail back in Calumet County south of Green Bay, but off toward Minneapolis it looks a lot worse. We now have a severe thunderstorm that has moved from Minnesota on into Wisconsin. In fact, a tornado warning now in Buffalo County, Wisconsin, out of a storm that went by south of Minneapolis. And near Mankato, there have been tornadoes reported to the west of Mankato. Look at this. This is what you call a classic hook echo that moved up through Brown County. There have been reports of injuries now in Brown County and a lot of damage in the town of Comfrey. Injuries now moving into other areas of Wisconsin like Nicollet County, and Blue Earth County right now is threatened by the bottom of that huge radar echo, and that could be a tornadic one. There have been reports of tornadoes as we've gone on through the afternoon. This line extends southward into parts of Iowa. It could erupt into severe weather anytime, and we've even had some severe weather in northeastern parts of South Dakota. So there it is, read it and weep. That's our area of alertness and actually potentially dangerous weather as we go on through the end of the afternoon into the early evening. This is truly a very active severe weather outbreak, and tornadoes again have been reported in Wisconsin and also on into Minnesota. If you want to stay tuned to the Weather Channel, lots more to come. If you're away from your TV set on the computer, it's weather.com simply on the internet, and you can go right to the Weather Channel's homepage. Now back to Bob Stokes in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Mike. It's the tale of two seasons across the rest of the country. Spring has been bypassed by summer across much of the east, and in the west, winter does linger. In fact, in Flagstaff, Arizona, you've never seen this much snow on this date. Here it is, late March, and you're dealing with temperatures in the mid-20s. If that's not bad enough, your wind chill has been near zero. On average, your high temperature is around 50 degrees. We mentioned the temperatures. How about that snow? And it's still coming down in Flagstaff. It's been falling around the Grand Canyon, and it's been going down and flying around as far to the northeast as Rapid City, South Dakota, getting into Laramie, Wyoming, Casper, Wyoming, down into the eastern half of Colorado, the Wasatch Range of Utah. It's a winter wonderland, and it is a big contrast because just to the east of that front is that very warm air coming in around that Bermuda High over the Atlantic. But here's a look at that cyclonic motion around the low. This is the storm track. We've got a big trough right here, and this is part of it, this spinning low, and that's what's creating the inclement weather, the volatile weather, the unsettled weather, and the snows across the southwestern part of the country. Now, this is rainfall across the southern sections of California, and we could indeed, with cold air aloft in this system, see the possibility, even going ahead, of thunderstorms actually going forward for the next 2 to 3 days. There's a look at the snowfall amounts from midnight tonight, 6 to 12 inches along the Bitterroot Range, right in this area of the Wasatch Range, the Tetons. We could see significant snowfall with that cold air aloft, and even the cold air at the surface, by the way, and with enough moisture, and plus orographic lifting. Some of the winds are hitting the mountains and rising, and then with cold air not being able to hold as much moisture, we're seeing snows out of that action as well. But here's the Bermuda High. Its influence is far-reaching. The clockwise flow all the way around it, there's the western edge of the high, and what has it resulted in? This right here. 79 degrees in St. Louis, 75 as you walk down State Street in Chicago and Michigan Avenue. It's a warm one. Enjoy it. Maybe you went out to Grant Park today, you just got back, wanted to know what the weather's going to be like. Show you in the forecast, but 80 in Dallas for some touch football, and the nation's capital is at 82. But earlier today, they reached a high. You reached a high in Washington at Dulles, 86 degrees, and in Bridgeport, Connecticut, that far north, 77. But Washington, 86, and here's how it looked as you enjoyed the mid-80s. With the bicycles, cherry blossoms and sunshine, what more could you ask for today in D.C.? Perhaps some shade from a tree, but it's going to be warm again tomorrow, and you also needed maybe some of that sunscreen. But the average high for this time of the year is 61, so you were 20 some odd degrees above your average temperature today. And right now, compared to 24 hours ago, you're 6 degrees warmer than you were yesterday, 12 degrees warmer in Des Moines, and 21 degrees warmer now than you were 24 hours ago in Lincoln, Nebraska. Here's your forecast this evening. More wet weather across the western Great Lakes. On the backside of the low, the snowflakes continue to fly. How about your morning commute in Washington, D.C.? The high stays in charge. That means a mild morning for your commute. And there's a look at the snowflakes flying across Wyoming and Colorado tomorrow morning, with some significant rains in the dark green, an inch or more, and the snowflakes flying across the Great Basin. How about lows tonight? Here's how they look. Very warm in Chicago. Maybe you're an early riser, you like to get to work early and drive. Well, it's not going to be too cold as you walk out to your car. In the 60s and 70s around Houston, Texas, so enjoy it. We do have that rough weather going on across the upper Midwest. How's that going to impact your travel plans? We'll detail it for you during TravelWise. All this follows your local forecast right here on the Weather Channel.